Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Gap Mastermind. We are so glad that you are here with us. So go ahead and drop in the chat where you are tuning in from. We'd love to see where you're tuning in from. So while you're at it, also tell us what's one word that describes how you are feeling about our market today. So if you can drop that in the chat, I'd love to see who's with us today. I see lots of great happy faces with us. Pleasant Prairie, welcome. Winter Garden, welcome. Welcome, Houston, Orlando. Where else? Where else? I love it. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Space Coast, Claremont, Los Angeles. I love it. Awesome. Awesome. New Jersey. Hey, New Jersey in the house. Welcome. So excited. All right. So, uh, what's the market look like where you are at? Hopefully it's hopeful, maybe challenged, determined, curious, fired up. We want to hear from you. So let me check the chat again. Opportunities. I love it. Lots of opportunities. Somebody's on fire over here, Martha. All right. Well, these conversations are so powerful because they bring our leaders together who are not just trying to survive in a market, but grow through it. And that's what GAP is all about. So let's be real. Today, the market is changing, and agents who adapt the fastest, they're going to win. So this is not a season to freeze up. This is a season to get sharper, wiser, and definitely more strategic and more intentional with how we serve, because in a shifting market, clarity becomes your advantage. So today's conversation is designed to help you cut through the noise and focus on what actually matters. But before we jump into that, a couple quick reminders. So EXP Rally is coming up in your neck of the woods. If you haven't had your rally yet, check it out. See if there's one happening near you. You can go to regionalrallies.exprealty.com and see where the rallies are happening. In Orlando, I know we've got one coming up for April 15. If you have not registered for that one yet, you can go to orlandorally.com to go direct to ours. And if you're not in Orlando, of course, check out regionalrallies.exprealty.com. And let me also tell you about Build at Sea. Now, you do not want to miss this incredible event. Rooms are already booking quick, and we still have early bird pricing. We will not have it for long. So you want to get that early bird pricing, go ahead and get registered at buildatsea.com and be part of this exciting opportunity. It's our third annual cruise. Last year and the years before were phenomenal. So much connecting, learning, growing, and the excitement happened well after the cruise had ended. Lots of people taking action on the things that they have learned. One of the things that we learned was how to create our own song. So we have our Gap Mastermind song that you heard here, and we learned that at the Build at Sea cruise and so many other amazing things that we've put together. So be part of that, buildatsea.com. And now I'm just going to get right to it. Our special guest today is the amazing Kendall Bonner. So Kendall, how are you today?
I am excellent. So glad to be here. Thank you so much, Rebecca.
Awesome. We'll take it away, girl.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, first thing is, I noticed for my screen, it just shows you and I. Can I actually have everybody, the full, like, I want to see everybody's faces, not just my own.
Think you can see it through the gallery
If you could,
view.
can you unpin me? I
Okay.
think I'm remove spotlight here. I can my own spotlight.
There you
Boom.
go.
Okay. There you go. I see us. All right, everybody.
Still in the house.
If you are able to turn on your cameras, please do that. Just so that we can connect today. My hope today for today's call is not to give you another new strategy, another new idea. I really want to get to know you and talk to you and support you with where you're at in your business. And so today's going to be like an interactive call. So this does require your participation, and it's all designed to support you. So the thing I want to bring up, and actually let me introduce myself because some of you probably don't know who I am. So my name is Kendall Bonner. I am a real estate professional here in Tampa, Florida. I'm also a Florida licensed attorney. I've had my real estate license for over 15 years now. I've owned a brokerage. I started a team a few years back with my husband. I've been a top producing agent. And I'm also your former VP of Industry Relations and Strategic Partnerships here at EXP. So I was Leo's first hire after he became CEO of EXP a couple of years back. And it was my honor and privilege to serve not only you all, but underneath him as well. He, as you already know, is an amazing, fabulous leader. And I was blessed to learn from him, as well as like to have that exposure and that experience. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is, understanding where your business is at and where you're going, right? So I have an acronym that I live by and it's called SMART. And SMART is an acronym for strategy, marketing, AI, relationships, and technology. Those are the five key components of any business, not just a real estate business. And so my hope is that we can talk about where you're at today and where you're going. And so, in order to do that, let's get some intelligence because I want to tell you guys something that you may or may not realize. Today is the start of Q2. You have just completed a whole quarter, the whole first quarter of 2026. And so, with this start of Q2, you have a fresh quarter, you have a fresh scoreboard, right? And I want to do something different today on today's call and not have it be just a listen only call, but really a participation room. So the first thing I'm going to have you tell me on a scale of 1 to 10, how did Q1 feel? Tell me in the chat. I'd love for everyone to answer. 10 is it was excellent. 1 was it stunk. 5 was, but I'm getting there, and if you've got momentum, I want to see 8s and better. Yes. All right. So good. So we have 8s, 7s, 9s. What else do we have? All right. So pretty good. All right. Well, anyone in here willing to be honest and say it was under a 5? I'm just curious because I know it can't be that great for everybody all the time. I keep hearing, Rebecca started the call with, it's been a struggle bus. I'm curious if anyone has struggled, and honestly, it's okay if you have, because part of our goal is to help you unlock and any gaps that you're having in your business. But okay, so since we have some good stuff going on, Martha, can you unmute? You gave it Q1 a 9. Tell us about that. What went well in Q1 for
Hey,
you?
sorry, I'm literally checking out at Marshall's. Thank you, I'm good. Yes, lots of learning. I've learned that if you want to be a leader, you have to lead from the front and you have
Mhm.
to, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
And have some uncomfortable conversations because sometimes those are needed. Also, buyers or sellers need us to be the leader. They don't need a yes man. They don't need, oh,
Mhm.
see, no. They need somebody who's going to say, no, this is, tell them the real deal. And we need to let them know that we negotiate for a living, right? That's why it's easy to do our BBAs because we negotiate for a living. So,
Mhm.
doing the easy things are not sexy all the time. We need
Yeah.
to buckle down and go back to the knocking on doors, if you will, making the phone calls, making the dials, whether we want to or not. Because let me tell you, in the past January, December, I got really intentional, became very
Mhm.
intentional about making my phone calls and having those conversations, and those conversations are turning into deals. So
I love
do the things that are hard, do the uncomfortable things, and I promise you that you too will crush it in the next quarter because there's people out there that are yearning for somebody to say, I got you, and mean that. I look at my clients and say, let me tell you the process, and look at me. I got you. I am going to take care of you. They don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care and that you are
it.
going to take care of them.
I love that, Martha.
I land my plane right there. Take care of the people in front of you and no emotion. Real estate has no emotion. Our job I have talked to so many listing agents in the past 2 weeks that are and they want to make the they want to make the response for the seller. And I check them.
Yeah.
No, mommy, you are not the seller. You are the
Yeah.
one that provides the information without the emotion. You're here, and I need you
Yeah.
here level to talk to the seller. So
Yeah.
take ownership. And we are so happy that glad that we have each other. Iron, what is that? Iron sharpens iron. So
Yeah.
blessed. It has been a year of growth. Rebecca, and coming into these rooms, I am a different agent now.
I love it.
So
Thank you,
thank
Martha,
you.
for sharing. Yeah. You said a couple of things there that I want to make sure that everyone hears. One of the things that I think is so super important is that it is easy to get caught up in the emotion of real estate. If we're emotional about it because it's attached to a paycheck that's going to pay bills for our family. But as my husband always says, your job is to be a lighthouse, a calming anchor in the storm, right? You are not supposed to drive the storm or continue to elevate the storm, but to bring calm and levity, or even just peace to the transaction, and honestly, wisdom and experience, right? So, all very good points there. The other person I wanted to ask how Q1 is going is Holly George. Holly George, you gave it an 8. Tell us like what worked in Q1 for you. Can you unmute?
Good morning.
Hi. What worked
Hi.
for you?
Making conversations really worked, and I use Sisu a lot. So between Sisu and Bold Trail, tracking my numbers and just seeing like the amount of conversations I'm having a day, the amount of dials and everything like that. That has helped me to just um, do better and keep my pipeline full.
Yeah. I think, what you said there, which is really important, is that transparency of accountability. I always have a saying, if it's not in writing, it doesn't exist. Don't just think it, ink it, right? Having things in front of you, having tools to help you keep what you're doing top of mind, I think is super valuable, important to making sure that you deliver on the goals and that you have for yourself, and that you stay on track. Because someone said you can't improve what you don't document. Like if you don't understand it, can't see it, don't know what's actually happening, how can you possibly improve on it? How can you possibly grow from it if you're not actually actively paying attention to it? So I love that, Holly. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to ask one more person. Gil, you gave it a 7.5. Tell us
Yeah,
what.
and I was kind of I was I immediately thought to myself, maybe I'm being a little overcritical, but I could not give myself an 8. I think we all came into this year with a perceived uh, blast of momentum that wasn't
Mhm.
really true, right? We came in with the ideology, oh, rates are going to go down, house prices are going to go up, and we allowed a little bit of that energy to be displaced. And it took us a little bit too long in the quarter to actually realize, no, we have to bring the energy, right? That there's not going to be a piece of wind or a bunch of wind coming behind and pushing my business forward. Oh, I've got to run and push my business forward myself. So I want to say that we came in with a lot of energy, expecting to ride energy, and we realized along the way that we have to push that energy. And when it comes down to it, it's just about like taking the actions that will give you the result that you want. And when we started auditing our actions and really realizing, are we doing the actions necessary for the results we want? We realized, and we kind of framed a few things like, if you didn't prospect and you didn't speak to 5 or 10 humans today and put them in your database or update them or what have you, were you even a realtor? And we challenged everybody. Is like, are you even a realtor? If you didn't prospect, the number one thing you can do in your business, in my opinion, right, is always be looking to either connect, follow up, or close your business, right? Connect, cultivate, close your business. Were you even a realtor today? So for me, I had to give myself a 7.5 because it took us a little bit into the quarter to kind of really get our momentum back because we thought we were just going to float into the first quarter, to be very frank with you. And now
Yeah.
we're like, oh, the rates didn't drop and they may not drop. So we're going to have to earn our money. So that's kind of why I put it a
Yeah.
little lower than the group.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I, you know, I feel like it's always good to take stock of where you're at. Again, because it's so important if your aspiration is to grow and to improve, there is no growth without discomfort, right? And I think we can all admit that we've had some uncomfortable months and years. You know, the last 5 years of real estate have been really unique because we haven't had like that just consistent roll, right? I mean, it's just kind of been a wobbly, and we never know what to expect. And there's so many multipliers and factors that have nothing to do with us or our clients that appear to be impacting our businesses. So I want to take this time to ask you guys in the chat, as well as, and feel free if you want to unmute and talk about it, raise your hand. So just so I can call on us in order and we're not talking over each other. Who felt stuck in Q1? Even if you had a good Q1, right? Relatively standard, under relative standards, who felt stuck and what happened? Give us some ideas because this is an opportunity for you to get unstuck. If you really care about getting unstuck in your business, you got to talk about it. You have wisdom in this call right now. You have experience on this call right now. Who would like to share a moment where they've been stuck in the last 3 to 6 months in their business and would like some help getting unstuck? Don't make me call on you because I will. All right, Dawn, I'm going to call on you. Where's the place in your business
I
you felt
felt
stuck?
it. I felt you staring at me through this screen. Okay, Kendall. For me, it's been more so like I leaned more into my online webinars for first-time home buyers. And I've spoken to two prospects that we are in the very early stages. But with all, I'm going to be honest, with all this talk politically, people are afraid about income and they're willing to pay rent versus invest in owning a home. So for me, I think I'm feeling stuck because yes, social media is great and it's our friend, but it's really filtering the noise, especially for first-time home buyers, and not being hesitant about like dealing with it head on or like casting doubt earlier in the process. Because I think I would be a fool not to acknowledge that it is scary, but making sure that I don't sit in the fear with them. Like my job is to coach. So I think that's where I've kind of been stuck since that's like one of the things I've been focusing on this year.
So to clarify, you're feeling stuck in your fear or in their fear?
And their fear, because I'm a believer, right? So I know like what God has for me is for me, just like with my clients, what God has for them is for them. Like works, what is it? Faith without works is dead. So you still have to do the work, right? Like if it's meant to be, you still have to have your down payment. We still are going to look for options for you. But it's like when someone is so scared to make a move, how do you
Mhm.
stay encouraging for them? Like
Yeah.
I know what's possible, right? Like I'm the expert. I know all of these resources, but at the end of the day, they still have to feel confident enough making the move. So I feel like maybe I'm not being the best coach I can be if they're feeling like they're still not able to make a move.
Yeah, no, very good. Okay. So my thoughts, and I want to open the floor for others, but I'm going to share my thoughts on this. And I would love for Veronica, who's a great coach and leader, to step into and give her opinion and any others that have an opinion on this. But I'm going to say this. Our job is not to make people buy or sell houses. So to me, to try to accept that responsibility is you can never that's an unattainable goal because people are going to buy or sell regardless of what we think or what we tell them, right? Like, so in other words, release yourself from the responsibility of feeling like it's your job to convince them to buy or sell. If I could just say that. That's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would say is, where I see most agents miss opportunity is we do get stuck in what I refer to as the red ocean world, right? And like meaning the people that raised their hand that said, I'm thinking about buying or selling, which everyone else is also talking to, right? And so then we feel the pressure, and then we feel a little bit scarcity. Like I heard you say, I have 1 or 2 clients, right? And the goal for me in my mind is you should have 10 to 15 prospects who are likely to buy or sell in the next, 6 to 12 months minimum. And part of that is, getting to the people who actually have to buy and sell. So, and the reason why I say that is because I feel like we often look to the triggers. The triggers that we look for are regarding like the listings and stuff like that, and so I teach and I promote life events, i.e., finding the people whose lives are changing that forces them to need to buy or sell regardless of rates. Because there are people today buying and selling regardless of the rates, regardless of the equity they have in their home, because they have to, because life circumstances are leading them down that direction. So when you find the clients who have their own motivation, you don't feel obligated to help them discover one. Does that make sense, Don? So if you start looking for people who are already motivated to move and you get super dialed in on them, that's when you start to end up putting the right amount of time and energy in the people who actually are going to transact in the next few months, as opposed to the people who raise their hand and say, I'm thinking about buying or selling. And then now you feel obligated to convince them. So in other words, your first conversation, or a task I'd like to encourage you or anyone to do, is start going through your database and start looking at who has a life event right now in their world that is causing them to need to buy or sell. And if you can't identify the life event, you might have a motivation problem with that client. And you just have to own and accept that it's not your job to motivate them into buying or selling. That's an impossible task. So, but if you search for life events, like if you can go back and identify that, that's who you can give your priority to, because those people have outside circumstances or internal circumstances that have nothing to do with you or the market. And those are the people I would focus on. So, Gil, you had your hand up. I assume you want to add to that.
It's funny. I've never actually put my hand up. That is the very first time I ever put my hand up. I had to search for that button because I'm really good at interrupting people. So I'm like, you know what? Kendall's running a professional environment here. I'm going to play by the rules. So thank you for inspiring me to play by the rules. I think that people will give you your LTE if you allow it, right? So every consumer, no matter what business you're in, the consumer is trained to give you your LTE, which is your lowest tolerable excuse, right? They will tell you, oh, well, because of the war. Well, it's the rates, because of the rates. And I always act shocked. Like, what do you mean? That's why people are buying. Well, what do you mean people are buying because of the war? Yeah. Like I'm on contract to buy one right now. I'm actually closing on a property right now because of the war. I've actually got a lot of my people. It's like, do you want me to show you the way that affluent buyers take advantage of the market? Here's an idea I want to bring to you. I brought to my group in a small kind of group. Veronica was there. And I want you guys to understand this. When you look at people that are running at a high level who are closing 50 or 100 deals, and I took a look at the top 250, and I looked at those people, individual agents doing 50, 60, 120, 200 million volume, they're doing something you're not doing potentially. They are searching for a different type of client that you're searching for. See, many of you guys are searching for that ready client. And I know why you're doing it, right? Because you're like, they answered the phone, they give you some feedback and blah, blah, blah. But what I want you to search for, the way the elite search, I want you to know that I pride myself in searching for the not ready. The not ready client, the most valuable person in your database. The not ready person is the person that gets to ready, right? By eliminating some confusion, by giving them some clarity, by educating them, by just pouring some energy into them, you can move somebody from not ready to ready. But I know why you don't want to do it. It's not that sexy. It takes time. It's a little bit of work, right? But if I have a platform of not readies, I can actually say, you know what? 5% of these sellers are going to sell this year. I can talk to anybody and not be tied to this fear of like, oh man, I hope they tell me, I hope they tell me they're not ready because I need to close somebody in August. I need to close somebody in September. I need to close somebody 3 years from now. So I'm going to collect as many not ready. I want you to take some pride in saying, you know what? I'm going to add some not readies into my database and I'm going to water them and I'm going to grow them. And the thing is, by sheer numbers of hitting not readies, you're going to run into some readies, right? We're just going through this process of just finding out how people are doing. Hey man, I saw you were at that soccer game. Like I've been thinking about getting my kid in soccer. How was that? Daga, 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 right? They're going to talk to you, right? Hey, you still live over in Lincoln Park? Do you love it? No? Yes? Whatever. I don't care. It's just a conversation. You're not tied to it. No one's signing a listing agreement. Rarely, ever, on a one conversation, right? I don't expect them to sign a listing conversation for 7, 8, 12, 50 times. Not ready is where the gold is at. Not ready is where you become a person you can't be competed with. Not ready allows you to build your business with a feeling of like love because there's nothing that's going to take away from it. I hope you're not ready. I'm too busy this month anyway, right? Like I got to pass you on to somebody else. But the truth of the matter is, if I can nurture that relationship, that's my relationship when they're ready. Somebody at church can't be like, oh, no, sorry. I'm already talking to Gil. I've been talking to him for like a year and a half right now, right? The nail salon person, the tattoo artist who has a real estate license can't beat me because I've already been nurturing that relationship. You think about Ricky Carruth, all he talks about is not ready. That's all farming is. I'm going to work with some not ready people, and I'm going to water those people. I'm going to love on these people because at one point they're going to either send me a referral or they're going to contract. Even if I have to wait till they die, at the point that they die, they got to sell, most likely. I'm going to nurture that relationship. I'm going to nurture that relationship until they have a kid. I'm going to nurture that relationship until they get married, until they get divorced, until they get a great job, until they lose all their money, until something happens that makes them do the thing that they're going to do regardless of whatever the market is. War, rates, doesn't matter. When you have a need, the need happens. And they go from your not ready bucket to your ready bucket. So I want you to just really kind of just understand the market is giving. It's giving you the seeds right now to fill your business because some of this stuff's going to go away. Some of this stuff actually not there. It's just the lowest tolerable excuse. So by the way, whenever somebody tells you a LTE, a lowest tolerable excuse, like, oh, well, act like a fool. No, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? The governor in New York is changing the way you buy your home. Help me understand. Like, just ask questions. Ask questions. Curious people make more money. So I'm gonna take my hand down. However you do that.
Love it. Coach Gill in the house. Yes, but that's the thing. With your last point, I'm going to say that before I transition to the next question that I have for the audience is, are you good at listening? And in order to be a good listener, you have to be prepared to ask questions. And, one of the, Norma on my team, she told me about this acronym. I forgot where she got it, but too many of us will ask a question and then try to fill the answer. And one of the things she started doing was she would ask the question and then mute herself so that she'd stop talking and let the customer do more talking, even if it's an awkward silence, till you get the answer that you're looking for. And, the wait, and she said she applied the wait framework, which is, why am I talking? So, and if you're a good listener, that means you're curious and you're asking great questions and you're letting them fill the space with the answer. That is how you lead an effective conversation, right? So why am I talking is wait. Ask your question and hit mute if you're one of those people that accidentally fills the question with the answer or starts over explaining or you're uncomfortable with the silence. Why am I talking? Just mute yourself. So my next question is, I want to hear from a couple of you. What was your biggest lesson from Q1? What did we learn that has changed the game for you that you want to not take with you into Q2? And I'm going to call on some names. Let's see. I see, is it Talia? Is that how you pronounce it? Talia? Tell us, what did you learn in Q1? You're muted, Queen.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I actually learned that my fear from 2025 was debilitating me. And so I was like, that's not coming with me in Q1. So I also had to learn that sometimes it takes learning new things to and get out of that comfort zone that we were talking about, and leaving that fear of not being able to use new tools. So I got a new CRM. I've been using Follow Up Boss, new tools like Fellow, being able to create home value dashboards for clients. So me going into Q1 was all about providing
Uh-oh. Is that just me? All about providing. Did anyone else miss that? Was that just me? Talia,
She's
come
stuck.
back. Okay. All right. It froze. Yes. Talia, when you come back, put in the chat what you said. I'm sorry, Queen. Um, Violetta, I see you in the chat. Can you tell us what did you learn in Q1
Yeah, I
that you,
actually, I'm here. I'm here.
yes.
Oh, so I've been in the business for quite a long time, but I just let it come naturally. I wanted it to come naturally and not ask for it. And I got complacent and I'm like, okay, why am I not really doing what I need to do? And it's been a lot of self-discovery, but Q1 has been eye-opening because I've been very intentional on asking for the business, and now the business is coming. So to me, that was, yeah. I know it sounds so basic, but like you're connecting, you feel like it's coming, it's gonna come because you know people and you're cool with people. But if you don't ask for it, you don't get it.
Amen. That's actually biblical. You have not because you ask not. But I love that you said that and you were honest about that because my part of my experience with working with real estate professionals over, over a decade of coaching and leading and training them is that most of them are accidentally successful and reactionary. And my whole thing is get intentional, get proactive so that you can actually be running a business and not have a business run you, right? That is so important. Talia, I see you're back. Did you want to finish your last statement, Queen? So sorry about that. Did you freeze again? Are you there? Did she freeze again? Oh my gosh. Okay. We put it in the chat, Queen. I'm so sorry. All right. So it's good. I love that we're getting some lessons. I want to give you guys a lesson that I learned, two lessons that I'd love for you guys to take back to your business. Number one of the things I've been going deeper on is this fact that so many people try to grow through action, meaning we grow from a to-do framework. Like I need to do more follow-up, do more this, do more that, right? And one of the things I want to encourage you is that before you do more or before you add more to your plate, because some of you think you have a lead problem, you have a this problem, you have that problem. And really, I believe that, you can't scale chaos. So for those of you trying to scale chaos, that's problem number one. So before you can scale, before you can add more, subtract. Before you add one more thing into your business, what can you take away? What are you doing or working on, or what is not working? What can you eliminate as a distraction from your business, right? So before you add more, subtract. That's lesson number one. Number two, before you do more, document and define what you currently do. How many of you have documented? Put a 1 in the chat if you have fully written out SOPs and systems and processes. You have everything documented. Put a 1. If you have little to nothing documented, put a 2. Come on, be honest. No one's judging you. This is just facts. I already know what your answers are. One, if you're fully systematized and written, everything's written out. 2, if you're not. Be honest. It's okay. No one's judging you. This is just you becoming self-aware. And this is accountability because again, you can't improve what you don't document. Right? So, take some time, for those of you that are being honest with yourself, whether it's personally or in the chat, that you don't have things written out. That's okay. No one's mad at you. Your life's not over, business isn't over, but I do want to encourage you to take the time to do that. Would you guys like, for those of you that haven't done it yet, would you like some tips on how you can do that easily? Because I can give you some easy tips on how you can start to document your systems and processes. Number one, next time you go to do something, I'm going to ask you to turn on a little recorder. So it doesn't matter what recorder you do. If you use Google's Google Record, Crisp. I use a tool called Crisp, K-R-I-S-P. I love Crisp. There's Whisper, W-I-S-P-R. It's a talk to text tool, right? Anything that's going to allow you to talk out loud and transcribe it. So in other words, you go to prep for a listing appointment, take a moment to say, either as you're doing it or right after you're doing it, turn that little recorder on and talk about what you're doing as you do it. So when I go to prep for listings, the first thing I do is I go to the public records, I search them by last name, then first name, and you just start documenting what you do. Then, okay, next, now I'm finally in, I go into my MLS, I'm in, I don't know, what are the tools now? I forgot, they just changed it. Like, anyway, whatever next tool you do, I forgot what I used to do. I had a whole like step by step framework, and you just talk through it as you're doing it. And you could actually film yourself, like do a Google Meet all by your lonesome, sharing your screen with what you're physically doing. And then you can take this and throw it into, you have Loom. If you do it as a Loom, you can that'll help you actually translate it. But you can also throw the transcript into a ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT or Claude or whatever LLM you have and say, I just walked through all the steps to building, the steps that I take before as I prep for every listing, turn it into an SOP for me. And it will create this checklist for you. Because this is the thing, you can't scale chaos. The only thing, when you want to go add an assistant or you want to add support or you want to add another agent into your world, you can't add them to chaos. You can't add them to systems and processes that aren't documented. You think it's easier to just talk them through it. It's not. It's easier if you give them a foundation to read through, to look at as a checklist that you could reference as a checklist. Because so many of us, because we're accidentally successful, we don't even treat every listing the same. And especially if there's long gaps between this listing to the next, or this buyer to the next, or this referral to the next. Do you have a system for how you handle inbound referrals? Do you have a follow-up system for how you keep in touch with that agent that referred you that business? If you don't, you should. If you want that agent to keep referring you business, it's likely if they had one referral, they might have another in the future. Or they might know an agent who ultimately is going to, that might lead to the next referral, and vice versa. Do you have a process for when you refer a listing out or a lead out? How do you follow up with that agent? So many of us get upset because we haven't heard from that other agent, but you know what? If they don't have a system, then you should, for how you follow up with them. And if you document these things, it becomes easier to execute on them. It becomes easier to hand that off to an assistant or to hand that off to AI. Because AI eventually is going to be following these steps for you too. But if you don't have it documented, you can't pass it on. So next I want to get into, with our last 15 minutes, I want to talk about Q2, because today is the beginning of Q2. I'm curious, what are your goals? What are your goals just for the quarter? Some of you, who put a 1 in the chat if you did a business plan for 2026, and put a 2 if no. So yes is 1, 2 is no. Only one person has a business plan? Okay, 2 people. Okay, fair. Yes. Okay, good. So most of you have a plan for the year. How are you doing on that plan? Who knows? Are you on track or off track? Put a 1 if you know you're on track or off track, and put a 2 if you don't know. So some of you know if you're on track, off track. Good. I want you guys to, for those of you that don't know, that aren't in the chat telling us, because I guarantee you there's someone in the chat who doesn't know if they're on track or off track. Set a goal for Q2. just for the quarter. A lot of times we make these big goals for the year because I heard something recently that I think is so true. We often overestimate what we can do in 1 year and underestimate what we can do in 3 or 5. And so before you feel like a failure or anything like that about the year, because every quarter is a little bit different, I'd love for you to break down what is your quarterly goal, just this quarter. So I'd love for you guys to put in the chat and also just unmute. I'd love for 2 or 3 people to share what is one thing, because again, you only need focus is so important. Focus requires consistency. Consistency means doing it over and over again. In order to get to the next level, which is proficiency, you must implement consistency. And so proficiency means getting good at something. So for those of you that aren't quite as good at something as you'd like to be, it might be because you're not yet consistent. And if you're not consistent, it means it's because you've not been focused, right? So watch the train. Starts with focus and clarity, leads to consistency. Consistency leads to proficiency, getting good at it. And then once you get good at it, then you master efficiency, which is maximum output with minimum wasted effort. We would all love to be efficient. I know I would. Like I'm an efficiency queen. Like I'm always looking for the clearest path forward. And so if you want to get efficient, you can't skip steps. So it starts with the focus. Who would like to share with us one thing they're going to focus on for Q2 so that this is your way to hold yourself accountable? Please don't make me call on you. Let's get a volunteer. Just one thing, not a whole long story because we don't have a ton of time. Anne Marie, I feel like you want to share.
How did you know? I was about to unmute. We're
Beautiful.
focusing on expireds and we're doing a little bit old school door knocking, letters. We have some branded moving boxes that we're dropping off. In fact, today is expired day for us, so we're going through our list of who do we need to reach out to. I feel like that's lowest hanging fruit right now.
Awesome. And do you have a documented SOP for how you follow up with these people?
Yes, we do.
Good.
And we're making sure to put them in our database and keep retargeting them through social media as well.
Okay. How long is your follow-up process with these folks?
It's 8 weeks.
Okay.
So 8 weeks, well, 8 weeks with like tangible items that are getting dropped off. But then of course I'll go into the CRM with a drip campaign that's, I believe it's 18 months out. My husband built it.
Okay. That's good. I'm not judging good, bad, or I'm indifferent on what it is. I just want to make sure you have it. So good, good. Let's see. Luz Martinez, what is your one focus for Q2?
Yeah, Q2 is for me is going to be we're implementing a call night. It's something that I got away from, and it's just I want to get back to it and being intentional. So some scripting and call night.
Beautiful. I love it. And then I'm going to call on one more, Kiara Proctor. Hey, Queen.
Hi, I'm here.
Hi. What's your one thing?
Yes, my goal for Q2 is going to be to do between 10 to 15 transactions. And I have it broken down to where that's, like 5 a month. One of my stronger lead sources is going to be it's my Sphere. And then I'm starting to see a little bit more activity on the social media side, which I know that I need to be way more consistent. So that's another one of my goals, is to stay consistent with social media and just continue to post valuable content.
Okay. And then by posting valuable content, how is that, or what's your expectation from that? Is that people are going to reach out to you? Is that, or that you're going to build new relationships? Like, what's the intention of that? Because I think that's important to establish. A lot of us think just posting content is the goal. And to me, social media is a tool, not the strategy personally. So I'm curious how you plan to leverage the tool. Like, what's the strategy behind the tool for you?
So so creating relationships and those connections that are long term, those people that are maybe not quite ready right now. I actually just got one that, he's like, I just want to learn a little bit more about the process. I love your content and stuff like that. And somebody that I haven't seen in like 20 years that I went to high school with. And responding to those people as soon as they follow me. If I don't know them, just, connecting with them, tell them, I'm here. I'll send them my website, which has a ton of resources, and continue to build those relationships so that I stay top of mind.
Okay. So
And
your
for
goal
builder
is,
relationships too, as well. So
yeah. Okay, good. So I just want to like clarify something for people. When you're leveraging social media, have an intention around what your social media is designed to do. Is it designed to be a billboard? Because for some people, that's really what it is. It's just a billboard. And a billboard means like, hey, I'm up here, I'm available, and when you need me, call me. Right? And that's okay. Like that's as long as we're honest about what our strategy and our intention is. So if your goal is to just be a billboard, but understand that billboards require a ton of impressions, right? A ton of work on your end. And you're not always in control of how many people raise their hand. Versus if you're using social media to start conversations, like where you're proactively starting conversations, that requires a different intention. Maybe that intention is high use of CTAs, right? Like with the question, I need you to comment, I need you to DM, I need you to raise your hand so I can proactively reach out to you. Like, what is your strategy behind the tool? Right? So I just want to encourage you guys to like, so if you're ever using social media and you're like, I'm getting leads, and you're super excited about it, but you're only getting like 3 to 5 a year or something, and maybe that's all you care about. That's enough for you, and that's no problem. But just understand, like, that has everything to do with the strategy you're using your social media for. Versus if your intention is to go start conversations, then that's less about you posting and more about you being in other people's DMs and other people's comments and you know what I mean? And like being intentional and proactive that way. So it's just a matter of how you plan to use the strategy. There's no, I'm not saying there's a right or wrong way, other than to say if you're not being proactive with it, like if you don't understand your strategy, that would be the only mistake I would say. Just understand what your strategy is. All right, Beto, you got some coaching you want to do. Love it. Bring it. You're muted. Still muted, babe. Still muted. Oh,
All right, can you hear me now?
yes.
Hi, guys. First of all, I just want to thank Kendall for leading such an amazing, amazing session. Let's blow up the chat and give her kudos because, gosh, we're so lucky to have her leadership here. I just want to, I know a lot of times we talk and a lot of people have, seen our growth and think that we're always winning. Like we just finished Q1 and, I already know, for example, I love the question that Kendall asked, like, what are the lessons and what do we look back and we say, okay, what are the things that we need to do? For example, we're 43 deals short from our initial Q1 goal. So like being able to look at the data and being able to say like, am I having an honest conversation with myself? Um, we use Sisu. You could use whatever you want. Kendall obviously on this call has taught you guys so much about like the importance of running a business like a business. The agents who look at this as a job are going to struggle. The ones who look at this as a business are going to win. And business owners know their numbers. 107 deals, we're 43 short. Then when I look at my team, I'll say, okay, what do we need to do next to make up for those 43 transactions that we didn't complete? We celebrate the wins. Yes, we've got a lot of listings. If all those listings would have sold, yeah, we probably would have been okay. But as a team, we know we have to recruit X amount of agents to reach our goals. But Kiki, like one of the things that I want to say is, and I want to use this as a just kind of like a coaching opportunity, is like when you say 10 or 15, make a decision and commit.
Yeah.
Is it 10 or is it 15? Which one is it? And on this call, I'd love you to to lead by example and just commit to one, and it's your number. Like, and when I look back at my team and we look at our Q1, we just wrapped up Q1, we celebrated it. There's lessons learned. We say, okay, are we still committed to the number that we originally committed to for 2026? We can make adjustments every quarter, but what we can't do is have a vague number, because vague is not a direction. That's something I want you guys to think about. Vague is not a direction. It is either 10 or it is either 15. And then if you fall short, then you can make a plan based on the things that you did or did not do to then adjust. So, Fig team, I'm declaring it publicly. We're 43 deals short. We had 107 closings. How many pendies we're walking into Q2 with? How many of them will sell? How many agents? What do we need to do to pivot? Right? This is where you really start running your business like the CEO of your business, when you could also look at your business and say, where can I make the adjustments? But I committed to a number. I'll publicly declare ours is 600. We know where we want to be at. We have ancillary, we have other things, but 600 is our number. We can always pivot, but we can't have a vague, I can't sit here and tell you 5 to 600. I have to tell you a number. So Kiki, Kiara, what is your number? Is it 10 or is it 15? We want to help you get there, but we got to commit to one number. And that applies to everybody on this call. Q2, commit to a number, not a vague number. And we're going to help you get there.
Thank you, Veronica. And I want to say one thing with that is, because she brought up a good point, having that number does matter. And especially when you're on track, off track also matters. Like every quarter, every month, you should be checking, are you on track, off track? And the reason why is because guess what? That goal, that micro commitment that you made to get to that big picture goal, like let's just say it's $100 a week. If you're off track, guess what has to happen? Has to adjust. Maybe now you need to make 150 calls to get back on track. And if you're not paying attention throughout the year on each month, you are going to, at the end of the year, not meet your goal. And we all know how that feels, especially when if you had just been paying attention along the way, you could have made those micro adjustments so that you could actually hit your goal. But because we set it for the year and then we don't analyze it throughout the year, we don't pay attention, we don't review it, we get lax on the standards that we hold for ourselves, we can end up missing the mark. So we have 3 minutes left, or 2 minutes left. I want to turn it back over to Rebecca. But with this, I want to give 2 quotes. I always give them. And so every time you see me speak, I always talk about them because they are 2 quotes that I think matter for all of our businesses. Number 1, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those that cannot read and write, but those that cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So pay attention. What do you need to learn? What do you need to unlearn? What do you need to relearn? And focus on those things. That's number 1. Learning is a superpower, and it can change the game of your entire life when you are open to truly learning and implementing what you learn. And remember, learning is an action. It's not knowledge. It's not gaining knowledge for knowledge's sake. It's gaining knowledge to apply. That's what learning is application of that knowledge, okay? And then number 2, the quality of your life is a direct reflection of what you make non-negotiable. And what Veronica just challenged each of us to do is to make our goals not just goals, but to make them standards, to make them commitments. Because the quality of your life is a direct reflection of what you're willing to do to achieve what you aspire to achieve. And if you are not willing to take the action to achieve it, what are you doing? Why are you wasting your time, your energy, your money, the heartache? Like, we all know this isn't an easy business, but it's a beautiful business. It's not easy, but it's beautiful. And it can change your entire life. And so I think it has the aspiration, or it has the opportunity to really give you everything you've ever wanted in your life. But are you willing to sit in the discomfort long enough to achieve it? That's the question you have to ask yourself every day. Are you willing to sit in the uncomfortable parts long enough so that you could have the vision on the other side? So with that, I'm going to shut up. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks, Rebecca and Veronica and Gil and Carlos, for letting me hop on the call today. It's an honor and a privilege. And thank you guys for being here with me today.
Kendall, this was so
Thanks,
good. Oh my
Kendall.
gosh, everyone, please light up the chat. Let me know if you enjoyed this. Did you find value? I know I did, took lots of notes. And I don't know, I hope that we can keep seeing Kendall come back and back and back again. But this was amazing. A true mastermind, by the way, which is what I love more than anything. I love it when we can interact with our amazing agents and be able to really learn. This is like a live coaching session with one of the best in our industry. So, Kendall, thank you so much for just bringing it today for us. So, everyone, thank you so much. Like we mentioned earlier on the call, we've got our rallies happening. So, I don't want you to miss out on that. Go to regionalrallies.exprealty.com. Check out the rally near you. Orlando, you're having your rally next week. So you can go to orlandorally.com to join the Orlando Rally. And that's really Central Florida and any place in Florida. You're all welcome to join in on that one. And of course, Build at Sea. You do not want to miss Build at Sea. It's going to be phenomenal. We have a great lineup of speakers. We'll be talking more about that later on. We'll be having a mastermind, not a mastermind, but just more of a what to expect on Build at Sea. We'll be announcing that call later in our chats. So please beware of that. But we would love to have you on that. So if you get more information at buildatsea.com and to get the recording for this, it's going to be shared later in our EXP Global Alliance YouTube channel. So if you've not gone over to YouTube, subscribe, follow, like, comment, share, the whole 9 yards. This is amazing, worth rewatching again. So we will see you again next week, same time. Have a powerful week, everyone. Adios.
Great job, guys.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.